Yo yo, what's up, y'all? Alright, basically, we got a ton of reveals for FB07. We started getting a couple of cards here and there not too long ago. We had already known what the Shenron leader was. We saw some sneak peeks of what some cards would be, but without seeing the effects. And now we've seen the effects of those cards. We've seen what the other leaders are, and let's get into that. I'll give my not necessarily reaction because I've already seen them, but I'll give my analysis on what I think of the cards and how strong or how mid I think they'll be, and etc. So, Oolong. This is Shenron support. We have, if your leader has Dragon Ball and its special traits, it's 10k. 10k is nice. One cost, so easily playable. It's not something that is sits around in your hand. If you want to play it, then you play it. If your leader has Dragon Ball and special traits, choose battle card 5 or less. You can attack, so it's Para, but it has cost restriction. Unlike Para, you don't have to use marker, so you don't use marker, but it has cost restriction. Although, other than Shallot, a lot of stuff, pretty much all decks, are 5 or less stuff. Other than if you run into like androids, I suppose. But how many people are playing androids right now? Androids gets kind of waxed by Boo badly, so yeah. But this looks like a very strong card. Um, definitely, definitely would be played just because it seems like Shenron has so many things that it needs to wait to do stuff. So just anything that can slow your opponent down and get you to the later stages of the game will definitely be valuable. Um, Kami, when this card is placed in your deck until the owner's drop, if your leader has Dragon Ball and special traits and you don't have a marker, you place a marker. It's good. We know that the Dragon Ball card, where is that at? So down here. We know that that card, it mills. What's that card on here? Might not be. I've already seen it though. Yeah, that card's not on here, but it's a 0 cost, and it's I believe 0 cost extra activating. Place top 2 cards into your drop. Place top 2 cards in your deck into your drop. And basically, because the leader effect is that you need 7 Dragon Balls in your drop if you want to flip over, and then you can play 7 or less. And so, being that you're going to be milling cards, having cards that proc when milled is strong. And if you draw it, it's 10k, all good. So it only has value if it's in your deck and goes to drop. So otherwise, you can just use it for combo power, or you can charge it. Strong heart for sure. Um, Tell me your wish now. If your leader Shenron, that also means that Shenron will have to be on his awakened side. But essentially, you're paying 5 to play a 7 or less, so you can play a 7 from your drop. You can also um, use Shenron's effect to play a 7 or less, assuming you have the 7 Dragon Balls that let you um, flip over to him, but you already did because you're over. But yeah, if you don't want to use the leader effect yet to flip over back to your backside, then potentially, you can play this and not use the leader ability, and then, wait around a little bit. But otherwise, you can spend 5 and then have your 2 extra for whatever you want to do, or who knows? Just because who knows how late in the game it'll be. But yeah, we'll have to see how strong the 7 costs are. And this will definitely be a strong card, but it really depends on how viable the deck is in general before we know. It could be stronger than once, but if the deck's not meta viable, then it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to see, are these decks going to be strong enough to push out decks like Kid Buu, Red Cell, stuff like that. Because as we've seen right now, Black can't really handle Red Cell, so we'll see. Here's our super combos. These are cool. They also have alt arts that we'll get into those. Those are really cool looking. Got Sun Goku Daima, Sen Shenron, Son Gohan from Superhero, Cooler, and Bunny Bulma. All pretty cool. Glorio. And it's one attacking draw, 4 or less standard. Activate main, you discard 1 card from hand. Hey, top coup vibes. During the next turn, time you activate skill on a card with DA in its card name, you reduce it by 2. Top coup had a lot of stuff similar to that. But yeah, so essentially you discard 1 card, any card in your hand, and then if you activate an effect that has like a tap 2, do something, or tap 3, do something essentially like that, like on the board, or if in your hand it has like an act main or something like that, something that costs with the skill, then you reduce it by 2. If it costs 3, it costs 1. If it costs 2, it costs 0, etc. So that's pretty cool. And we'll get into a card later that really pairs well with that. Shenron. This is a deck I'm really liking. Also, key thing is these win attackings that we've seen on these leaders aren't including the once per turn. So yeah, like Frieza, for example. Frieza has an extra we're going to look at later that can restand the leader. And so it allows Frieza, he's going to be able to draw both times when he swings with his leader. I believe we did not get that with. We know that you have to jump through hoops to do it with blue tanks, because when attacking is once per turn on the backside, and I believe with the yellow Daima Vegeta it is as well. Let's see. Products. Or just cards. Doop. 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 Yeah, one attack and once per turn draw. Yeah, these other leaders don't have that. So, yeah. Anyways, Shenron, one attack and draw 1. When your life is at 6 or less, that's cool. Bulma has 5 or less that you can awaken. This is 6 or less. So you can essentially be awakened with 6 life still. If you have 7 or more cards with Shadow Dragon and their special traits in your drop, flip this card over. So you have to have both. It's not and or, it's both. You have to have 6 or less and have 7 or more with Shadow Dragon and their special traits in your drop. So essentially, my thought process is you can play the long game, protect early life, because there's no really rhyme or reason to rush awaken as far as the life total goes, simply because if you get to 6 life but you don't have 7 in drop yet, then you can't do anything. You're still on your front side, and you're gonna be 15k. So if you don't protect, then you could be a 15k and not be able to flip over, and just things could get dark. So the idea is that you protect early, comboing out with your Shadow Dragon stuff. That way you stay high life while also building your drop that will allow you to get to that 7 or more cards with Shadow Dragon in your drop. And then Once you do get to 6, you flip over, and since you've filled up your drop so much, you'll be able to do his effect, which reads, when you would pay the cost of an extra Shadow Dragon, let's say it costs 4 special traits from your hand, then instead of paying 4, you pick 4 Shadow Dragons from your drop, shuffle them up, bottom them randomly. So just like a search, but you pick the 4 cards you want, and then you just shuffle them. So you don't organize them at the bottom. You shuffle them, just like you always do. But yeah, then when attack and draw a card. So you're playing extras for free. You're paying your cost for your bodies, but for your extras, you're playing them free. And that effect is once per turn. It doesn't have the once per turn up here. It's the once per turn in the wording. So don't look over that. Piccolo, Orange Piccolo. It's very cool. When attacking, draw standard, 4 life less, 15, 20. When attacking, draw. When opponent's card attacks, and this is not once per turn. Well, doesn't read once per turn at the top. You may choose one battle card with cost 3 or more, and SH in its card name, similar to what the leader has. And if you do, you can switch the attack targets to on the card. So essentially, any card you have in your battle area, if it's 3 or more and has SH, even if it's rested, and your opponent's attacking you, you can choose to switch that target to the card instead of your life. You don't have to use it like as soon as they swing. So you can wait to use it. So essentially, like I say, they swing at your leader to start the turn. You have the option to use it, but you don't have to. You can wait until like he swings later in the turn and use it. But once you do use it, then the skill's done. Like it says, the skill can't activate for the turn. So once you use it, that's it. So this card will have strengths from cards that have when KO effects, and such as 6-cost Piccolo, for example. Well, no, not 6-cost Piccolo, but if 6-cost Piccolo had SH, then essentially that's what it would do. It would have support from that. But yeah, otherwise it's just super cool that they need to deal with your board, or you can always just switch a target to something, and when KO effects can be cool, because even if they get rested, you can still choose that target. Golden Frieza. Standard left side, right side. End of your turn, pay 1, reveal the top card of your life, and if the revealed card is a battle card that costs 6 or less, Frieza clan, you may play it. So like if you flip over 6-cost Golden Frieza, let's say you rush Awakened, you awakened like turn 2, turn 3. So you awaken turn 3 and you have 1 over. You flip over and your 4th life is Golden Frieza 6-cost. Boom. You could slam it in the turn. You'll be at 3 life, but hey, you got that big motherfucker out there. And that's pretty crazy. However, since they're not going to be dropping, unless you're playing Shallot, they're not going to be dropping 5 or higher that early, so not necessarily super beneficial to have. It's kind of win more to have something like that out so early, so you could probably get a little more benefit from some other stuff that's more like, advantageous in the moment. But who knows? We'll see what kind of support it gets. But definitely a cool effect, and it's always strong to cheat out stuff for cheaper than intended. We've always seen that be strong, such as like once again Topku, cheating out stuff for cheaper than the cost on the card says, strong. Shallot, cheaper stuff, strong. Shenron. This card can't attack, and if your life is at 4 or less, this card gets plus 5,000 power. The significance of that is that when you're on the Awakened side, once you do his act main, switch this card to rest mode, play a battle card 7 or less from your drop, flip this to his front side, then all cards from your drop to the owner's deck, shuffle your deck. The reason that that's significant is because if you're at 4 life and you're on this, and you have to flip back over, then it would be it would feel kind of unfair if you have to go back to being a 15k leader. So you go back to being a 20k leader, and yeah, at least you don't just die instantly. But yeah, this card says switch this card to rest mode, draw a card, so a little better than Bulma's front side, so where it's draw a card and discard one, this one's just simply draw. And then way to awaken, when you have 7 cards, Dragon Ball special traits, and you draw one, and then flip over. So there's not a life condition. So you just, as long as you have 7 cards Dragon Ball, draw a card. So let's say you did protect early, and you got them in there, and you're at like 8 life, you could technically awaken at 8 life. And then yeah, we saw the Awakened side, so it's pretty cool. We need to see what those high cost stuff are, but being able to play stuff like 6 cost UI for off of this, or 6 cost Gogeta, or just who knows. Some people said 5 cost Bardock, but I don't know. The thing about 5 cost Bardock, 5 cost Bardock's cool, but having a combo 2 to pop stuff is kind of yeah. Not the biggest on 5 cost Bardock, but I was never huge on 6 cost double strike androids either, when everybody and their mama was, but as you can see, that card is not the craziest thing in the world anyways. Here we go. Dr. Rensu. Once per turn, when you call DA and its card name and evolve is played, draw 1. We can skip to this. This is the evolve card they're talking about. You may pay the skill cost and play on top of the specified card in the battle area. This also pairs with what we were looking at with Glorio, so where if you discard a card, you can pay the skill for 2 cheaper. So this skill is under that, and this would cost 1. So you can play this card, even though it's a 6 cost, you can evolve it for 1 onto Goku DA or Goku Mini DA with 25k or more. So that includes the Goku DA that's, let's see, let's just go to this. Boop. That includes cards such as hold on. Okay. There we go. Includes cards such as, okay, well, you know the card I'm talking about. The 2 cost that becomes a 30k when you're awakened. There's what else? I don't know if there's anything else that's above 25. Son Goku DA, that double striker, it's a 5 cost 35. You wouldn't want to use that, but technically you could. There's also this new card we saw, because this becomes a 30k as long as your leader's awakened. You can play this, it's a 30k. You can evolve that into this. It seems like that if you swing first with the card underneath, that this would not come in active, this would come in rested. Yeah, you can restand this, but if that swing is less than this, then you would rather just not swing with that. Play this, swing with this first, and then switch to active. and then if you want to swing again, you can swing again with this. So it'd be better to swing with this twice than swing with the other thing once, restand this swing. You know what I'm saying? And also, because you have the upside of if you play this out, then you can swing with it and then just restand and try to keep it safer by leaving it in attack mode. Attack mode, active mode, whatever you want to call it. Yu-Gi-Oh days, baby. Okay. And also, since we see that that card has evolved, if you play that, when this is out, then you draw a card. And you don't necessarily need to use the evolve. As long as it has evolved and it's played, you draw one. So if you play multiple evolves, remember, this is once per turn to reduce it, but let's say you're at, you would pay 1 to do that. So let's say, and it usually costs 3, let's say you're at 4, you want to do it twice, you do it twice, and this is on board. Oh my god. If you do it twice by paying 4, you evolve twice, and this is on board, you would draw 2. And it also helps because remember you're discarding for Glorio effect. So if you want to like mitigate that, then the discard this helps. But it's also a matter of how early are you going to play this out and not reap the benefits right away. And if you don't reap the benefits right away, how long will this stay on board? Being a 5K, it's pretty easy. -5 reveal, especially against like stuff like Cell, stuff like Boo, Tap It, swing into it. Who knows? Might see play, might not. Depends how much one cost hate's going to be in the meta. But, we'll see. Burst Attack. This is a card that has Shadow Dragon in its traits, and it's an extra, so it pairs well with the new Shenron effect. Because if you bottom deck 4 cards in your drop that have Shadow Dragon, then that means you could play this for free. And it has Activate Bane. During this turn, when your card with Shadow Dragon special traits attacks an opponent's battle card, it costs 5 or less, place the attacked card at the bottom of its owner's deck. So you're not choosing a card, because we all know you're allowed to attack into barriers. You're not choosing anything. So, as long as you attack into a card that's 5 or less, doesn't matter if it has barrier, doesn't matter if it's, as long as it doesn't have something that says, like, for example, 6 cost Jaren doesn't count because, well, for one, it's a 6 cost, so it's not 5 or less. But if you were to attack into that, it says it can't be removed, so that can't be removed. It doesn't have anything to do with Chosen. Or let's say they had 2 cost Trunks on the board and they had Energy Marker. You still wouldn't be able to remove something by attacking it with this. You'd have to get rid of the Trunks first. So there is protection around this kind of stuff. However, the good thing about this card is that let's say you have 1 cost cantrips that are Shadow Dragons for whatever reason. Let's say they do that. Or like just, doesn't necessarily need to be a cantrip, just low cost Shadow Dragons, like 1 cost or 2 cost. This is a lingering effect. It's during this turn, whenever something happens, it procs. It's not a once per turn. It's not a next time you attack. None of that. So you essentially could swing your cantrips at their big drop stuff, at any 5 drops, any 4 drops, any 3 drops. And as soon as you swing at it, boom, it bottom decks. Boom, bottom decks. Bottom decks. And then you swing your worthwhile stuff. So you don't necessarily have to waste your swing on swinging at the board to remove stuff. Because as long as you have Shadow Dragon archetype stuff, even if it's your little small little bodies, then boom, you can bottom deck with those and then swing a face. So that is really cool. And it's barrier removal. And also, if you're like, oh, but you know, it has to be rested, da 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 da. Well, for one, if it's not rested, then it's not really a threat because they didn't do anything. And for 2, let's say it's Kid Boo that they restood the 30k blocker. Let's say they restood Barrier Boo. If they block with Boo, then it still gets bottom decked because now that card is getting attacked. Yeah, you didn't choose to attack it, but that card becomes the attack target. Once they declare block, it would instantly get bottom decked. So that's cool. Really strong card. And it will become even crazier if there's a low drop Shadow Dragon stuff like 1 cost, 2 cost stuff. It'll be insane. Gamma 1, Gamma 2. Choose up to 1 battle card with a cost of 3 or less in your opponent's battle area and KO it. So it's essentially the future Gohan end of turn, but with just an on play. And then if your leader has SH in its card name, which Orange Piccolo does, gets plus 5k until end of next turn. So it becomes 25k leader. It's competing with like Future Gohan. It's competing with like the 5 cost Kid Gohan that draws 2 6 costs. I don't think you can ever run that outside of Piccolo, just because it's pretty much just centered around finding the combo pieces. The green Piccolo, that is. Well, you know what Piccolo I'm talking about. Namek Piccolo, I guess. Who knows? But yeah, who knows? We'd have to see on how the meta shapes out. If given your leader 5k power for that one turn, of how vital that becomes, because a lot of times they're okay with taking a turn off of swinging at the leader, because they can just deal with the board and stuff like that. However, and maybe that they're swinging numbers 25 or higher anyways. However, if Piccolo ends up being a deck that if it gets to late game, it just wins, and this lets you just get a free turn, then who knows? Especially with decks, green decks having ramp, we'll have to see if Piccolo gets any boss bodies or stuff like that. Then who knows? We will see, and it's also a target for Piccolo's effect, where if he wants to switch the attack target to that, then that's cool, because I could say that they only have 1 or 2 swings, and it's a 20k swing or something. He just switches the target to this, and then it's free combo out of the swing. It basically just nullifies the swing. Because what are they going to swing? Are they going to combo up to 30k to try to kill this because you change the target? Okay, they're spending 10k to get up there. You spend 5k to get out. You win that exchange, as far as card advantage. Frieza. This is why I was bringing up that when attacking, not being once per turn, has value. Activate main. It's 1 cost extra. Activate main. Golden Frieza with cost of 5 or more in your battle area. Which, if you have 6 cost Golden Frieza, if you have 5 cost Golden Frieza Double Striker, we'll likely be getting new Golden Friezas, one would assume. Switch your leader with Frieza Clan and special traits to active mode, then you can't use extras for this turn. So it's essentially that way that you don't just spam this, because that would just be nuts if you could just repeatedly just 1 cost, restage your leader, swing again, swing again, swing again. Be a little crazy, but yeah. So basically, it's a restand leader, and you get to draw again each time you swing. So that's cool. Dende goes with Shenron. If your leader has Dragon Ball special traits, but his top 5 cards you deck in your owner's drop, we've already seen that we get stuff like Kami that have, when placed into drop from deck, you get an energy marker if you don't have one. So cool effects like that. We need to be able to get our Dragon Balls into the drop as fast as possible, and not having to draw it and then put it in there. being able to keep the cards in our hand that we draw instead of having to just reduce our hand size. That's always cool. So high roll potential. Yeah, having middle cards is cool. So this is a good card. And it's 10k, so that's cool. We already saw this. It's a big body. You can essentially play it for 1 if you evolve it on there and swing twice. Saw this. It becomes a 30k on Free Leader's Awaken. Cool. Shadow Dragon. If your leader has Shadow Dragon special traits, plays top 2 cards of your deck and their owner's drop. We need to have our drop pretty healthy because that's our resource for playing our extras. Instead of paying a cost, we are bottom decking cards from our drop. So we only need to do it once per turn, so we don't need like to overly do it, but who knows, you could get like a, honestly, we could get like a 6 drop extra, crazy enough, like 6 or 7 drop extra if they really wanted to get wild, just because they know that we're not, the plan isn't to pay energy, the idea is to pay with cards from drop. They could print some nasty stuff, and if you mill enough, you get stuff enough in there, you play it for free just by bottom decking stuff in your drop. So that's really cool. And this returns a 4 cost or less into your owner's hand. And remember, blue has stuff like My and 1 cost My and other cards that can reduce cost. So potentially it could be higher than 4. But it's not bottom decking, it's just bounce back to hand, but it's a tempo thing, so it's cool. And gets around stuff like 4 cost Boo, so that's cool. Cool card. And it's also a Shadow Dragon target, which your leader is as well. So if you play that extra and you want to bottom deck something that's 5 or less, you just swing at it with your leader or swing at it with this, and it will bottom deck it. Don't even go to combat, just bottom decks it. Here's a target for the new Piccolo, because you can switch target to him. He can even be rested, and also that's another thing. If you use Piccolo's effect and you switch the target to one of your cards via his effect, because it's a 3 cost or higher SH, it doesn't say you have to switch the card to rest mode. So like, let's say you have for example, this, and let's say this was 40k and it was an active, and you switch the target to this, and we're swinging less than 40k, and boom, you know, it's still safe, but you fizzled the attack essentially. So that's cool. And this, you swing with this. Let's say they don't attack it because they want to get around the win KO effect. They don't want to give you a draw card. Use leader effect. Switch target to this. Draw card. Yeah, we have a Chaozu that has the same effect, and it saw absolutely 0 play. It's the exact same card, same numbers, 3 cost, 20k, 10k combo, 1 KO, draw 1 card. But as we all know, traits can make all the difference. So being able to try to force the KO, who knows? We will see. But could be tough. May need something like I don't know. May need something like Future Gohan in this deck to play things like this for it to matter. But we'll see. This seems like a pretty slow 3 energy turn in the early game. Don't know if you can afford to play just something like this and pass on 3. No, I think you would definitely want to ramp. So who knows when you can play this and feel good about it. King Cold, aka Mecha Frieza. Both of them. This is a card that pairs with the Frieza leader effect, the end of turn, if you show this from life, because it's 6 or less. And it's got Frieza, I don't know if it's Frieza Clan or Frieza Army, it's one of them. But if it has that trait, then you could, hold on, we can go look, might as well. If it's Frieza Clan, okay? Yep, freeze the clan. And 6 or less, you show this from the top of your life and end the turn, and you can play it. And on play, if you play this from your life, then boom, you replace it with top card of your deck. So the drawback that you're thinking, oh, when you use leader effect, you're only at 4 life, so if you play it, then you're going down a life. This basically gets around that and says, okay, you'll play it, but you won't lose a life because you'll replace it. So that's cool. 5 costs, tougher to interact with. Blocker, cool. 0 combo is kind of rough, but hey, we'll see. We'll see if you can organize life somehow. Maybe. Who knows? We will have to see. Some more Shenron stuff. When this card is placed from your deck into its owner's drop, and your leader has Dragon Ball, then play this card from its owner's drop. Does Shenron have Dragon Ball? No. Yeah, he has it on both sides. Okay, so yeah, if you mill this, then it just hits the board. It's got blocker, so you can just protect out swings. So it's cool. It's got something. It's only 5K, so who knows? We'll see how much flexibility the deck has, and we'll go from there and figure out if it's playable or not. And these are the bad super combo alts. These are really cool, and the pictures that definitely don't do it justice because they showed the IRL footage of it because the commentators at the Japanese event had it, and these are shiny as you wouldn't believe. These cards look amazing. Definitely chase cards out of the set, and I will definitely be wanting to play with these. These are really cool, and yeah, it's dope that they already showed us the super combos too, so it's not going to take up reveal space on the reveals, because I know a lot of people hated that when we're patiently awaiting for reveals, and then boom, we see a super combo, or boom, we see a cantrip when we want to see new effects. So yeah, that was really cool. And yeah. And here, lastly, is Manga Booster 02 energy markers. Super cool, and we will be seeing these later on in the year when Manga Booster 02 gets out. But it's a cool sneak peek. We don't know any actual cards from the set from Manga Booster 02, just potential possible cards that will be in there, because we saw like a panel with like Demon King Piccolo and some other people. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for me, I believe. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts on any of the things I talked about, or any hype you guys have for the cards that are coming out in FB07. And see y'all later.